Hello, the internet, and welcome back to the live stream. It is Saturday, the 8th of June, and this morning I will be live for 31 minutes. Now, I know it's not necessarily morning where you are. It's morning for me. It could be afternoon. It could be daytime. It could be midnight. It could be the beginning of the afternoon. I don't know what it is where you are, but thank you for spending 31 minutes with me on the Gives a Minute YouTube stream. I want to say hello to the chat. Tim Arskog was up there super early last night. In fact, he posted his comment before I went to bed last night. I saw it, and then I was out cold like a light. So thanks for that, Tim. Uncle Tim, as we call him. Edie Murphy's in the house, sneaky watching on her phone while at work. Northrop MJ's on vacation, and she may have Wi-Fi, or she may not have Wi-Fi to be able to watch. Tim, he's up there saying hello to everybody. Edie Murphy, it's Friday evening in LA, head home in 2 hours. Yes, okay, that's good. 2 hours. That means, Edie, as these streams get longer and longer, you'll be home just in time to watch these streams. I think this is going to be perfect. Summertime in LA would be nice, says Tim. Michael, good morning, Michael. How are you? Mad Max, hello, Mad Max. We haven't seen you here before. Thanks for stopping by. Whereabouts are you in the world? Just out of curiosity. I Moonlight Wolfeye. Hey, it's Isla. Andre's daughter. There you go, folks in the chat. If you've heard me talk about Tracer in the past, in the chat is Dre, the drummer, his daughter. Nice for stopping by. Is your handle to Moonlight Wolfeye? Wolfwill. I'm gonna say it's something to do with Wolfwill. Wolfeye. Anyway, Northrop MJ is here. Shyla Rose, good morning, Shyla. Thank you for stopping by. Mark the Traveller, message retracted. What did you say, Mark the Traveller? It'll be, I haven't got my chat up. Hard baked. Bugger. Chandy Sayo, g'day, Chandy. Jetmax in the house. All right, this is cool. And someone did say, Northrump said there's a new Pockmorn video. And yes, I do want to highlight you to that fact. There is a Pockmorn video that's just been released. Sneaky bugger posting his releases right at 9 a.m. when I post mine. I've just posted a message in the chat, I think I did anyway, about that. So if you want to go and stop by later on, I've posted the wrong one. That's for something else. Well, you know what? Now I've messed that up. All right, don't worry about it. I'm going to pull up the chat. See, the message I posted, that's not relevant. That's not related to what I was talking about. Completely not. It's related to something I'm going to be talking about. So pretend you're ahead of yourself and see that message and come back to it later. Oh, man. Yeah, very clever, says Northrop MJ. I've just posted a second message that I didn't mean to post because it's all... Oh, damn. Okay, so it's been one of those kind of mornings. I thought I set this up correctly. Let me go here. This is what I meant to post then. I meant to post a link to Pockmorn's latest vlog, as Northrump MJ has let us know he has posted in his channel, and I said I would promote my nephew whenever he posts something. I said I would always promote it. So there it is, and the other ones are some Jack Daniels, which we'll get to in a minute. Dear, that's my mistake. How is everyone going anyway? We're going to talk about Apple and the products that they've released, mainly the costing involved in that. Mad Max, did I buy the iMac Pro? Heck no, I did not. Do I want one? Yeah. Can I afford one? Hell no, I can't afford that. I don't know any person that could afford that. It's really, 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 really priced. Tim says, overpriced. Tim says, I thought you had actual control of his channel and posting. I do. I have all the control over his channel, but he asked me to post it at 9 a.m. That's his schedule. Maybe he's done that to coincide with these live streams. Who knows? You know what we can do now, though? I want to show you Outdoor Man with a Van, which includes snippets of Streaming from Steven. I did a test run. I did 2 test runs. I've done 3 in total, and each one's gotten better and better and better. Mark the Traveller says, I'll catch you live back. Okay, I'm on an Instagram group call with the other YouTubers about some stuff. Okay, no worries, man. Good work, Mark the Traveller. Moonlight Wi-Fi, a millionaire. That's right, Isla. You got to be a millionaire to afford these Apple products. I don't think they're aimed at regular people, but we'll get to that in a second. But I want to show you my latest Outdoor Man with a Van with a little snippet of Streaming from Stevan. Welcome to episode 28 of Outdoor Man with a Van. This is my new roof rack, better for the 4G antenna. Now, the only thing I'm not 100% happy with is the way these cables enter into Stevan.
I've drilled them out a little bit, but still, it doesn't seem all that great. But what that does allow me to do is get out there and make a final Streaming from Stevan test. But before I do, I want to show you my complete setup. So here we have the chat monitor, here we have the streaming computer, and here we have all of the tech. Coming out down there is main camera going into Thunderbolt dock. Going into Thunderbolt dock underneath here is second camera. You see that cam link right there? That's the GoPro camera coming in. Here we have the 4G antenna in MIMO, two of them going into the AC800. Coming into the laptop itself is the Stream Deck, which is up here. Stream Deck here for controlling the stream. Now there is one other cable which I haven't shown you, and it is the power from the GoPro, because the GoPro needs a power supply, right? And so that comes from the GoPro into the battery pack, which is below there. You've seen that before. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go Streaming from Stevan. I'm going to intersplice some footage of that. It's pretty exciting how fast we drive. This could be a good test. Don't do it. But I've never been here streaming, be entertained. Roaming free in a sense. I've got a 5-meter HDMI cable. This is beautiful, isn't it? Starting next week, Sundays, 1 p.m, it's going to be Streaming from Stevan. So this might be the best time for you to hit the notification bell. And then in the meantime, between now and next week, you guys can go back to the other live stream.
Yeah, I am getting so pumped for this Streaming from Stevan. I am super excited to get this out there next Sunday, 1 p.m. on the east coast of Australia, whatever time that is for you. And just watching that back just now, I have made somewhat of a decision in my head. I'm using my laptop, right? But because there's power in Stevan, there's no reason why I can't use the iMac as the streaming computer. The only reason I used the laptop initially was to go and be portable with it, but because it's plugged into a mains power supply, why don't I run my iMac in Stevan, and that way I know I'm going to get, because I could see a little bit of, like, not buffering, but I could see the stream wasn't a clean 1080 stream. It looked like the frames might have been lagging about 25 frames a second. Looking in the chat, and Mad Max, I missed what you said earlier when you said, did I buy the iMac Pro? I thought you meant the Mac Pro. And yeah, now I see who you are. You're my father, Dark Chap from DLive. I've been live on DLive nearly every day this week. Quite a cool platform for live streaming. And he's been in there, Mad Max. I am going to buy the iMac Pro at some point. That's going to be kind of the topic of discussion here today, but I was initially looking at the Mac Pro, but way too expensive. I thought that that'd be a bit of a cheaper base model, to be honest, but it's not. So yeah, everyone's saying, Newly Awakened says, that's quite the setup. Wow, says Moonlight Wi-Fi. Wolfville. I still can't say your handle, Isla. I'm just going to call you Isla instead. Happy Canadian. Hello, live stream. That's a wicked setup. Thanks, buddy. Thanks for jumping in. The Happy Canadian. Stevan says Mad Max, Happy Canadian, awesome. Michael Sweet Rig, yeah, I'm super pumped. This has taken a long time to get here, but I'm so pumped. It's fun to do as well. Happy Canadian, hello Mindy, Newly Awakened. I haven't missed anything. Eddie Murphy, hello Jeff, Happy Canadian. Okay, you guys are chatting amongst yourselves. That's beautiful and lovely to see. Let me just have a swig of my water and then we'll get into the topic of discussion. So this week, Apple released their Mac Pro. Now, this is the long-awaited professional desktop machine. When I say professional, up until this announcement, I would have been aiming that at people such as yourselves, creators, myself, creator, photographers, filmmakers, those kind of crew that need a really powerful, really interchangeable, modular, mixable system. Prior to this, we haven't had one of those. Way back when I started graphic design in 2004 or 2005, we all worked off what they call the cheese grater, the G5, the big Tower Macs, and they were awesome. They were so interchangeable. You had these side slit that pulled up, and you could just slide in different hard drives and different different graphics card. You could do whatever you needed with them. But for some reason, Apple decided to swap that, and they basically killed that whole idea. Until many years later, 2013, they re-released this Mac Pro, what it became known as the Mac Pro, and they came out with this circular tubular, ridiculous trash can, and it wasn't swappable, it wasn't modular, it wasn't changeable. It was what it was, and everybody hated it. All the pros went, nah, that's not what we want. So the conversation turned to Apple. When are you going to give the pros what they need, what they came to your system for in the first place, what everyone was using back in the day? Just give us an updated version of that. And so Apple did that this week. And it is a banging machine. It is extremely expandable. It is extremely powerful, and it is extremely expensive. Now, just for comparison's sake, the base level Mac Pro, the trash can I mentioned from 2013, retailed for about 3,600 US, about just over 4,000 Australian. That was the entry level to that machine. Now, I'm not ignoring the chat. I'm going to get to you guys in a second. I just want to deliver this piece, then I'll see what you guys have got to say. For comparison's sake, the base level Mac Pro that they announced this week, 6,000 US. So we're looking at about 7,000 Australian for the base. That's double what the base model for the 2013 model was. So I don't get why it's jumped up that far. Like, I understand make a Pro machine. I understand spec it out. I understand make it beefy and make it expandable and all the things everyone wanted you to do, but also make it accessible to those pros, because that price tag puts it completely out of reach for pros like myself, like yourself, like YouTube creators. Don't forget, you've also got to buy a monitor with that, because the Mac Pro is just the machine. So you got to buy a monitor, and of course they released their display. What's it called? The Mac MPX, the display, the Mac Pro X display. That's another $5,000 for the display, and we will get to that stand issue as well in a second. So that's a $10,000 outlay just to get the base model. Now, you could argue that you needed to get a display with the trash can as well, sure, but there were other displays available. They still had their cinema display on sale at that point, so you could buy a Thunderbolt display for about $1,000, and you were good to go. So you're looking at about a $5,000 outlay for that trash can Mac Pro. Now, today, you're looking at least 10 grand for the base model, and that's without a stand as well. Let's have a quick check on the chats. I've missed a lot. I've been ranting there, and I haven't even got to your comments yet, because I did ask for you guys to leave comments, and I'll get to those too. Was that a car or a van? Okay, you guys are talking amongst yourselves. Good to see. Happy Canadian. Everyone's in the house. I like Garfield, Moonlight Wife. That's nice to know, Isla. She likes Garfield. I am drunk, or is it really 384 gig of RAM? It's 1.5 terabytes. It's more than 384 gig of RAM. 1.5 terabytes, dude. That's a lot of RAM. It was my birthday last Friday. Oh, happy birthday, Isla. Congrats. How old are you these days? I'm going to guess you would be, crikey, 14? 13. Okay, you're going to have to give me that, because I'm not 100% certain. Say hi to your dad from me. Geez, I miss the Tracer tours, and I miss your beautiful old man. So Mad Max did say he bought the iMac Pro on DLive. He mentioned that. Now, that's an expensive machine too, but that's what I've got my eye on, but we'll get to that in a second. Hamish Ferguson in the house. G'day, buddy. Stephen Curry in the house. G'day, Stephen. How you doing? Hamish Ferguson says, remembering you mentioned price in your video. 6K US is closer to Australian dollars 9K. Oh, damn. Hey Siri, what's 6,000 US dollars in Australian dollars?
6,000 US dollars is $8,569.20, according to Yahoo Finance.
Hey Siri, volume maximum. Did you hear that when she said that?
That's very loud. Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay, I changed it.
All right, we'll use her in a minute as well. But yeah, you're right, Tim. I got that wrong. And 6K for a monitor. It's a 6K display, so the resolution is 6,000 pixels. Okay, cool. Thanks for that, Tim. The Dell is 8K for 4K. Okay, do you feel the iMac Pro is sufficient for budgeted professionalings? I'm going to get to that, Michael, because that's what I want to highlight. So yeah, let's have a look at the comments that you guys left, because I did put this call out. And we had some comments from the givers. The first one came from Barry's Views, which is up in the house. I think he was here. Barry, vlog from the bog, Barry style. He said his first nice sunset. He doesn't know if it's me, but I've noticed since Steve Jobs died, Apple products have almost doubled in prices. Now, I got to say, I haven't noticed that. I haven't seen this doubling in price. As I demonstrated, the only thing that's kind of doubled in price in my recollection is this Mac Pro. Other machines have come out at a reasonable entry level, and then of course when you spec them up with their RAM and a better CPU and a better GPU, that's when the price starts jumping up. But I don't think base level machines have doubled in price, except for this Mac Pro. But good point, Barry. Nice for you to jump in with your comment there. I appreciate that. Then we had from Newly Awakened, it's like Macca's and all the franchise fast food places. They sell the burger for a reasonable price or super cheap because they can make the real money on the side like fries and soda. No one gets a 99-cent burger without $2 fries and a drink. Now, that may be true. She's referring specifically to the stand that we did talk about, the display stand, so that you get the display, but you've also got to get something to hold it up, and we'll get to that in a second because pretty expensive, pretty strange too, a pretty strange move. iPads are real cheap now. Okay, cool. Well, that's good to know. I need a new iPad. My screen cracked. Michael says he's an Apple fan user. He's an Apple user. He was okay about the price of the actual Mac Pro, and the monitor price was okay when compared to reference monitor. Now, here's my argument with that. Who has a reference monitor? Nobody. Only the big studio houses that are producing Hollywood blockbuster films have a studio monitor, which is cool. They can have that $20,000 monitor, and this new $5,000 monitor from Apple will cover their needs. But what I'm saying is, where's the one for the professionals such as you and I, such as the givers? Where's the one for us? It looks like it's the iMac Pro. Unfortunately, we were all waiting for this Mac Pro to sort of come and be the modular system we could all use, but it looks like it's not for everybody. It's specifically aimed at these big budget warehouses, big budget film studios. And he's also okay with the stand being separate because Pro rigs sometimes make separate stands. Yet, true, totally true. The price for the stand was a market bungle. And I want to show you that. First of all, I want to show you what the price of the stand is, and this is the stand. If you haven't seen this, is anyone in the house? Hey, Faffy Day, welcome to the chat, buddy. Has anyone not seen this? Did anyone miss the Apple announcement and didn't see this? This on the screen right now is the stand that they announced to go with their display. It looks to me like a machined piece of aluminium with a magnetic ET head. It doesn't look revolutionary by any stretch of the imagination, but what is revolutionary is this price tag. Look at that. That's US dollars. Hey Siri, what's $999 US dollars in Australian?
$999 US dollars is $1,426.77.
Crikey, that's a lot of dough for a stand just to put your monitor on. Unbelievable. And I want to show you how Apple announced this. This is very, very interesting. Let's watch this. This is the keynote delivery. Now, if you didn't watch it live, we'll just play the part which relates to the pricing of the display and the pricing of the stand. And you hear an audible groan from the audience when this is announced. Check this out. If I hit play.
The new Mac Pro will start at $59.99.
$59.99 US.
And it's going to be available this fall. Now, we know a lot of customers who use the Mac Pro really want to be able to rack mount them in edit bays and machine rooms. So to support this, we're also going to have a version optimized for rack deployment.
That's handy. No doubt about that. That's handy. Wait for it.
As for the Pro Display XDR, well, the reference monitors that we talked about can cost tens of thousands of dollars.
These are the ones Michael was referring to.
Feature set. The Pro Display XDR will be $49.99 for the display itself.
It's an expensive monitor. Wait for it. There's a second version of the monitor coming.
And the Nano Texture version will be $59.99. The VESA mount adapter will be $199, and the Pro stand $999. And like the Mac Pro, they'll all be available in the fall.
Did you hear that? Did you hear that groan from the crowd? They're like, "What? Did you just say it's going to be $1,000 for the stand? Get your hand off it, Apple." Now, people have said, and I tend to agree, people have said that the way they delivered that content was incorrect. They should have said the total price for the monitor is X dollars, and then the total price for the monitor, the nano monitor, is X dollars. And by the way, if you want one without a stand because you've already got a mounting system in your studio, take $1,000 off. That's what they should have done. Instead, they did it backwards and said it's going to be X amount of dollars. And by the way, if you don't have a stand or any way to hold this up in your studio, it's going to be another $1,000 for you. It's Apple, and that's what Scotty YouTube was kind of saying, I think, in his comment. Apple have lost that sort of touch. We've seen that with this design mouse. Like, if you haven't seen this mouse, to charge it, you need to access this point here. You need to put your charging port in here, and then it sits on your desk like that while it's charging. So you can't freaking use it. Why can't that be on the back? And then you can just be using it like a regular mouse as you're charging it, Apple. And for that, I feel like they have lost a hell of a lot of the plot. Now, let's keep an eye on the chat. Newly Awakened says there'd be duct tape involved, but it would work. I'm sure she's referring to making her own monitor stand. I'd buy one for myself, Mad Max. You just bought an iMac Pro. Let's get back into that, actually, because I want to talk about the iMac Pro. I hate that mouse. Yeah, exactly, Chandy. I think it's ridiculous. The worst mouse design you could have. The mouse itself is fine, like all the features and everything, but that charging thing, get out of here. Seriously, that's not cool. That's rubbish. Tim Askog says, if the stand is available in fall, or will it fall? Gotcha. Isla says, to pronounce my name, you say two Moonlight Wolfie two. It's too difficult, Isla. Too difficult. I'm going to spend around 36. Is that your dad's money? Because last time you bought your iMac Pro, it was your old man's money. Let's jump back into the comments because I feel like we have to look at some of these. This one from Tim looks like there are a few managerial worms in Apple. I'm not sure what a managerial worm is. If you want to elaborate that in the chat, Timbo, I would love to hear what you've got to say. The mouse is designed so you'll need to buy two if you want to keep working whilst charging the first. Is that the case though? Because most professionals have a trackpad as well. So, and in my case, you can see the amount of dust on it. In my case, when I'm not using or when I'm charging the mouse, I just crank that out. But yeah, I see what you're saying. It could be a nice little ploy there from Apple. And let's jump back into the next chat. YouTube says, since Jobs went to hang out with the big cuzzy in the sky, Apple has become so boring. $900 for a stand that would cost $30 from anywhere else. Yeah, exactly. It's frustrating and it's deceptive. Now, this does raise an interesting point that I haven't even got to yet. How long will these products last? You know my iMac situation, how it's exploded? Well, Apple have flat out said they're not going to replace it. Further to that, they have said this. Let's read this discourse I've had with Apple. So let's just read it first. Well, thank you for allowing me the time to assess the situation. I've received the report from blah, blah, yada, yada, yada. Based on the information provided by them, I can confirm that they have isolated the issue to the third-party power supply that was installed in your device. You know, I put a PSU in and it blew. Due to this modification, we would not be proceeding in assisting in any refund or any further repair costs. Now, this is terrible from Apple because, to start with, the machine started blowing up before I did anything to it. Why would I change the power supply if something wasn't wrong? It wasn't me that caused the initial fault. It was me that was trying to rectify it because I was outside of Apple Care warranty. But this last line is the kicker in the guts. In addition to this, with the age of the device, we would also consider that it has lasted an acceptable period of time, and this also backs our decision not to refund. Now, let's work out the math here. I bought that machine in 2015. It's a late 2014 iMac Retina 5K display. 2015, 16, 17, 18, 19, 4.5 years. Is that what Apple are telling me the lifespan of their device is? 4.5 years? Now, is that specific to that device or is that just across the Apple ecosphere? Because if you're spending $12,000 more, $15,000 on Australian on a Mac Pro with a display and a funky $1,000 display arm and it only lasts 4 years, who is the one having the last laugh? It's Apple. Apple are taking you for a ride, like totally. And I'm a huge fan of Apple. Like I'm so heavily stuck in this ecosystem. I can't believe they're scamming us like this. It's disgusting. 4.5 years. That was a Retina display iMac. That was $4,500 when I bought it. It doesn't make any sense. And I didn't do anything. It just stopped working. So the situational where we're at right now is that I'm now chasing it through consumer law, and consumer law in Australia is suggesting, well, let's go for a half refund. So 50% of the cost price, which to me is still criminal, but if that's all I can get, then that's all I can get. And as you might think, you might be watching this saying, this guy is a dickhead. He's too busy with his head up Apple's ass. But I've requested that refund be Apple Store credit, so I can then put it forward to for the cost of an iMac Pro, which is what Mad Max did. He bought an iMac Pro, but his dad bought it for him. So I'm buying mine. I'm actually buying mine with my AdSense revenue. So thank you to everybody that's helped me out all over the years to get enough AdSense revenue to afford a Mac Pro, an iMac Pro, not a Mac Pro. So that's the situation update. It's disparaging, isn't it, really? And Northrop MJ asked, we should ask Apple how long it should last. And that's a fair question, which I had done. And it looks like 4.5 years is how long an Apple product should last, straight from Apple's mouth. Disgusting, Apple. Get your hand off it. That's not right. That's not right. Now, there is a comment that I didn't answer last week on the AMA. I don't know how I missed it. And Beyond Beauty, you asked a beautiful question and I didn't get to it. So I'm a little annoyed with myself. I want to just address it right now. She says, what is your favorite drink and what's your favorite Jack Daniels? Well, my favorite drink is Jack Daniels, but if it's beer, my favorite drink is homebrew beer. And what is your favorite Jack Daniels? Funny you should mention this. The 1907. This guy here, it's only available in the Australian market. I'll just get a focus there. This is an Aussie release only. It's my favorite Jacks, and we have opened that on the stream once before, and I've already put that in the chat. So if you want to go back up in the chat, you'll see when we opened this little beauty. But thanks for that question. I'm very sorry I didn't get to it on the weekend. That's just passed. I don't know how I missed it, to be frank. It's my mistake. Now, without missing any more of the chat, because I know I've been ranting, it's been a big week in tech. Stadia also made an announcement, and the announcement was very concerning because they only mentioned the word YouTube once in that second announcement. And before, when they talked about Stadia, all they were talking about was how rad it's going to be on YouTube, how you can bring your audience and your fans in. And they didn't even mention that this time. It's just all about the games, and it's not even coming until 2020 anyway. They said it'd be out this year, but it's only out this year for founding members, not in every country. That Stadia announcement was... All right, now look. Let's go back up to the chat because I have missed a lot. Sorry about that. I have been delivering this speech here and it's close to my heart. Okay, so Newly Awakened. Apple, we're not in the tech business, we're in the money-making business. Have they said that? I don't think they've said that. That could be a quote from someone else. Stephen Curry says, I like Samsung Electronics. Okay. Ben Wilson says the keynote missed one major thing, no Johnny Ive product introduction. I, for one, thank that about the keynote. I'm a little tired of the Johnny Ive rubbish, to be completely frank. It's good to have a great design process and a great design concept, but when that process and that concept puts a stranglehold on the actual physicality and the production of the machine and how the machine works, then I say, get your hand off it again, Apple. And I'm an Apple fanboy. Like look at my place. I've been heavily invested in Apple since 2005 when I began graphic design. Mind you, that's only because the industry said you have to work on a Mac. If I didn't have to, I probably wouldn't have. I was a PC guy. Tim Askog says, I honestly don't remember a post regarding managerial worms in Apple. It's not a term I would use. Maybe my system has been hacked into. Well, there it was, dude. Hard baked in. I just screenshotted it. My 4.5 years, my ass crack lasts longer than that. What 4.5 years? My ass crack lasts longer than that. Okay, not sure what you're getting at there. My ass cracks lasted 43 years. That lifespan's easily twice what Apple would hope you would be able to achieve. You think they only want you to last 2 years, just over 2 years? That's disappointing. Prorated for 4.5 years is reasonable, especially with aftermarket mods. But anything like any price range, like if you maxed out this Mac Pro and spent 40 grand on it, do you think you should get 4.5 years out of it, or should it last longer? Or it's not the cost based, it's the product itself, or it's just the concept itself. Ben Wilson, third party is a major issue, voids most warranties, but Apple is certainly the most inflexible and love to use third party excuses. But I'm not dealing with Apple anymore. I'm dealing with consumer law, which allows you or anyone to repair a good. And one of their criteria is if it's difficult to repair, which this clearly is. I'll give you my PayPal, Mad Max. My favorite movie is... Okay, you guys are chatting amongst yourselves. Great. I wish... Yeah, Isla, I wish your dad was in the chat. I'm broke, but I'll give you a rig sometime. I'll catch up. Okay, you guys are chatting there amongst yourselves. Very nice to hear. Apple has very little margin for resellers. Retailers, stores don't make as much compared to selling PC products. 40 grand, that thing should have lasted 3 generations, says Newly Awakened. Absolutely. I believe that if you buy Apple products from a third-party suppliers and have a problem, that Apple are less likely to fully assist. I can hear my outro bass line. Man, this has been a great chat. Thanks everyone for sticking around, having a great discussion. Apple, get your hand off it once again. Unbelievable. Cheers all. Happy weekend.
Oh, that's we're out of time.